You're listening to 54665, and I'm your host, Nora Roughen-Schmidt, here with the fantastic Emily Ruud. And we are going to do 10 legal tips in 20 minutes for entrepreneurs today. So I think anytime that we do something that's this much fun and this fast and efficient, I typically like to clap in the guests for something like this because this is a good one. So I think let's clap Emily Ruud in today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Does it get any better than having a clap in?
It really doesn't.
Right.
I feel so much better about myself already.
Right. So welcome back. We're super glad to have you again on 54665.
Thanks for bringing me back.
Yeah, of course. And so in the past, we've talked about LLCs and all of the important things that go along with that, as well as the dynamics of going into business with friends and other things like that can create some complicated territory. So today, for efficiency and for all of our awesome entrepreneurs and people thinking about being business owners out there who are on a 20-minute elliptical cycle at the gym while they're listening to us, let's give them 10 important legal tips in 20 minutes. Are you up for this?
I am up for it.
Okay.
I did my stretching this morning. I'm caffeinated. I'm good to go.
Fantastic.
And my one caveat is some of these may not seem like legal tips, but this is the sort of information that I would be imparting on my clients if they're coming in and saying, I'm starting a business. What do I do?
Right. Fantastic.
So I, as before, always have to give my legal disclaimer. I will remind you that the conversation we're having today is for informational purposes only and not for the purpose of providing legal advice. You should contact your attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular issue or problem you're having, and listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship. And now I'm ready. Okay. So,
all right, let's go. 10 tips in 20 minutes.
And are you timing me here? Do you have
I don't know. I think
stopwatch?
Caleb has a timer there in the background.
Okay.
So
All right.
this will be good.
Do I get a prize if it's
Yeah.
like quicker than that?
Yeah.
I talk
All
too
the
much. It'll
prizes.
never be quicker than
All
that.
of the locally sourced prizes. Yes.
Okay. So number one tip is to pay attention to your tax and legal deadlines. I have had too many clients come in saying, oh, my LLC is delinquent, or I missed this tax deadline. And a lot of times, in addition to creating more work for yourself or having to pay an attorney or an accountant to fix that for you, you're also paying penalties and fees and interest.
Yep. That's
and
no good.
It's just unnecessary.
Right.
It's something that's easy enough to do. The reason this came into my mind is I just got my notice to file my annual report for my LLC. It comes on a blue postcard. You go online, you pay $25, takes 5 minutes, get it done, do it as soon as you get the notice. Just take care of it.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Don't set it aside.
No.
You'll be losing that little postcard.
right.
It's not
You'll
good.
be looking for it.
Yep.
You know, our deadline is December 23rd. No, excuse me. Our deadline is December 31st. I'm not going to remember that over Christmas.
No, you're going to
No.
be partying.
Yes, I'm going to be eating peanut butter blossoms and watching the Yule log on TV. Like, it's not going to happen.
There might be a little eggnog happening.
Absolutely.
Right.
Eggnog. So, and that's more important during
Right.
Christmas than
You bet.
getting online and doing paperwork.
Yep.
So get it done.
Get your postcard.
Yes.
Get it done right
Yep.
away,
Go
folks.
pay your sales tax. Do your business things so you can enjoy all the other aspects of your life.
Yep. Awesome.
So second tip, meet with a tax preparer. Do this kind of on the regular, even if you prepare your own taxes. We have tax changes coming up this year. Meet with someone whose job it is to save you money.
Sure.
They can tell you what you can deduct, how you can deduct it. They may share with you ways to deduct things that you never knew possible. Mm-hmm. One of those things I always tell people is keep track of how many business calls you're making on your cell phone. You can deduct part of that cell phone bill if you keep track of what percentage is for personal use and business use. So meet with somebody whose job it is to keep an eye out on those kind of tips for you.
Sure.
Save you a lot of money in the long run.
Good idea.
With that in mind, tip number 3 is to watch your expenditures. You start a new business, you go on Vistaprint or you go on Zazzle and you're like, I'm going to order Yetis with my, business logo on it. And I'm going to do all the things and create these really beautiful, focus on bringing the money in. Some of that promo stuff is great. It's what you need to get a little zap of motivation to feel good about what you're doing and getting your name out there. But watch what you're spending your money on.
Sure. Good tip.
Number 3 is to network. And for me, this tip doesn't apply in the same way it would when somebody is talking about marketing. For me, when I mean network, I mean get out there and get to know other business owners because they can provide you with some of the professional help that you may be seeking, and they may do it for free, right? You've got a friend who's a realtor. They may be able to offer you some advice for free. You've got a friend who's an accountant. They may feel comfortable helping you out with things from time to time. Obviously, don't take advantage of your friends. That's a great way to end a friendship. But, there's a lot of give and take. You have things that you can offer to them, and having those relationships can save you a lot of time and money and frustration. Sometimes you just need to bounce an idea off of somebody who has the right mindset to take that and tell you, yeah, great idea, or don't do it.
Yep,
Good
absolutely.
To have people you can trust.
Right. Well, and also, if you are not part of your local business community and have not joined your Chamber of Commerce or your Main Street organization or Rotary Club or ladies group or men's group or whatever it may be, join and get involved. That's how you meet those people.
Right.
Put in some time. That's awesome networking. And some of those people have been members of their chambers of commerce or their Rotary for 30 years. They're going to know the ins and outs and the important things that are happening in your community.
And if you've tried one of those groups and it doesn't feel like a good fit for you, try another one. They're not all the same. They have different membership bases. Find the group that works for you.
Yep.
And, people scoff sometimes at the cost of joining one of those groups, the dues for one of those groups, but you find the right group and it is going to pay itself back tenfold because of the marketing and the camaraderie that you get in those organizations.
Oh, the relationships are huge.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
So our next tip, and I believe this is tip number 5, is be very clear in your communication with your clients. Set clear expectations in terms of timelines and services you're going to provide. This is the biggest thing I see when people are disgruntled with something that they've received, whether it be a service or a good. And sometimes that comes to taking legal action. A lot of times it doesn't. But just set clear expectations. Be upfront about how long things are going to take, what product you're including in your services, so that nobody has a misunderstanding of what's going to be provided.
Right. Absolutely. And, relatively recently, I have to go into a little story here. We had an event in Viroqua, and we had somebody set up to film the event, and this individual does an absolutely amazing job. And just hours before, there was a, backing out of the agreed upon arrangement. And so if you are an entity that's providing a service, or if you are an entity who's hiring someone for a service, it's important to make sure that you get those expectations in a clear and reasonable format. So we're all learning a little bit at a time.
Right. And now, you learn from those mistakes and you're like, next time I'm going to have a contract that has remedies for if something like that happens.
Right.
And obviously family emergencies come up, things happen, but typically professionals have something in their contract that provides for that, whether it be I'm going to help you find a backup. I'm going to, pay for the damages of
Right.
whatever happens so that you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Yeah. So my next tip is that you need to pay yourself first. And that necessarily doesn't mean that you need to be taking the money out of your business account and giving yourself a regular paycheck. What I mean by that is when you're developing your business model, you need to make sure that the service you're providing or the good you are producing is at a cost point where you can actually pay yourself for the service or the product, the time you're putting into creating that. So what I always say is, how much would you pay somebody else if they were your employee to provide that, to build that item or to do that service?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing you need to think about is, how much do you need to pay yourself so that you want to keep creating that thing?
Sure. Right.
Because if it's so de minimis that you are like, this isn't worth it, this isn't fun anymore, I'm doing all this work and getting very little reward, that's why a lot of businesses fold.
Right. Yep. Good tip.
Tip number 7 is outsource or delegate when you can. We touched on this in the last podcast, but it's really important that if there is a skill that you don't have, but it's really necessary for your business plan, find someone who can do it for you.
Right.
Whether that's a paid professional or whether that's, your sister-in-law who's really good at hand lettering and can do a beautiful sign for you, or a brother-in-law who's, I don't know why I'm going with all the in-laws here.
It might be the best option.
Yeah, right. Find somebody that you trust, to set up that QuickBooks for you. Just because you don't have the money to do it yourself, or the knowledge to do it yourself, doesn't mean that there's not somebody out there who can help you. So
That's a great tip.
yeah,
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
no, absolutely not. I mean, everyone who started a business needed help at some point. And so hopefully they remember that and they're willing to pay it forward.
Right.
Right. Or they have, the family obligation to help you out, even if they don't want to. Right. It's my favorite thing. So the next tip, and this is number 8, don't be afraid to modify or change your plan as you go along. So whether that's your legal entity, whether that's your tax structure, whether that's the good or the service that you're providing, if something isn't working, you have to have the ability to modify that. You have to take that risk. Sometimes you develop a product line and you have a tiny offshoot, and all of a sudden that tiny offshoot is performing really well and your flagship product isn't. You need to be able to take the step to continue to make your business profitable and grow and expand. And if that's changing things up, changing what product you're promoting, that's what you need to do.
Right.
The next, and we've touched on this a little bit, is utilize the free help. So you're a member of your chamber, you're a member of your Rotary, you are a member of any sort of business organization. A lot of times, even your bank will give free seminars, how to utilize social media so that you can get your name and product out there. How to set up your QuickBooks account, how to set up your business account with a bank. There are people out there offering free services. Typically, it's connected to a service they already provide, or it's through a business group whose member is offering some sort of advice or seminar on something they're really good at. Mm-hmm. And that's the perfect time to go and get that information. The other thing is you then have the opportunity to go up to that person afterwards. Hey, I really liked your presentation. Thanks for this tip. And you create that relationship in case you need to reach out to them again in the future and ask for some more help.
Mm-hmm. That's smart.
Usually when those people are giving presentations like that, you can, flag them as somebody who is going to be helpful in the future and who likes helping other entrepreneurs, and they can be a great asset. So my last tip is to make it as easy on yourself as possible. So I am a sucker for apps on my phone. I try to be one of those people who has like a beautiful paper planner and organizer and like writes all the things down in beautiful different colors. It doesn't work for me.
No.
It lasts like a day.
Right.
So I found that, what do I always have with me? My iPhone. So I use apps that make the business aspect of my life a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. I've got a mileage tracker. I use things like Remember the Milk to keep track of my to-do lists. You can do your personal and your business. It shoots you reminders. Mm-hmm. Find ways to streamline the process. It also makes it a little bit more fun.
Yep.
Anything to keep you engaged and to minimize, the monotony of, I own this business and I have to keep all these records and keep track of all these things. You want to make sure that you keep your eye on the prize in terms of, you created this business because it's something hopefully that you're passionate about and that you love to do, and you don't want to lose that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's it.
I think we made it in time too. I don't
think
see
we
any
did.
Hands going up in the background.
I thought there were going to be more Nora interjections and stories, but you really just let me run.
This is great. Well, we were really going for the get it done at the gym on the elliptical. And I think we did that. So hopefully somebody out there burned about 350 calories.
Right. Can I offer a bonus tip?
Yes.
In that,
absolutely.
that thing, in that realm. And that is, you are likely a very, I'm trying to think of the word that makes this sound like a compliment, not you, to your listeners.
Yeah.
They're very motivated people.
Right.
And sometimes you forget, you put your head down and you're working on a project, you're working on your business plan, you are providing services to everybody else, and you forget, oh, I need to go to the gym and get on that elliptical. Mm-hmm. That is one of the biggest things, I think. I mean, my best ideas typically come when I'm taking my 25-minute walk during lunch. Mm-hmm. I can actually focus and recenter. Mm-hmm. I'm sometimes listening to a podcast that has nothing to do with my line of work, right. Or I'm listening to a book on tape, or I'm not listening to anything and I'm just actually enjoying nature. And you need to schedule that time too. Right. Get outside, get to the gym, do something different during the day that, is your mind is working all day. You're sitting there, you're getting it done. Let your body work a little bit too. And you're going to be amazed at the ideas that come to you and how refreshed you feel giving yourself that break. I know you do that a lot, Nora, and it's helpful to go get, maybe some of the frustrations of the day out, or get really pumped up for the afternoon. Yep.
Every day. It's the one thing as a professional and a mom and a wife and a friend. This is the one thing that I get to do for myself every day. And I am so scheduled, from the moment that I wake up in the morning, dropping the kids off at school, getting into work, meeting, podcast, right. Whatever it is. And that's my 1 hour. Right. That's my time. And so it is important that everybody has their time.
Yeah. And don't overschedule that. Don't double book that.
Yep. Always take time for yourself.
Yep.
Well, Emily, it's been a pleasure having you on today, and thank you so much. To our listeners, I hope that you enjoyed our 20 minutes of quick tips. And remember to always take care of yourself. And my name is Nora Roughen-Schmidt, your host for 54665, the podcast for entrepreneurs. And we will see you soon.